James here with Heart and Soul MTG, back with another MTGO Intermediate Swiss Draft. I decided to play a little game this time. It's called, I'm going to take a shot before each pack and go into the games with some alcohol in my system. The main reason I decided to play that is because I took a shot and then hung out and wanted to play some Magic, as usual. This is pretty much all I've been doing for a while now. Drafting is very convenient when you can sit at home on your computer and not have to worry about driving anywhere or making sure that there's going to be enough people at your LGS. There's always enough people online. Going into pack 1, like I said, I already took my shots. I'm going to skip it. Pack 1, we got some good stuff here. So, Removal Package, Vicious Offering, and Shiv and Fire. Both of those cards are good. Those cards are something that we are interested in at the moment. We also have a Gideon's Reproach. I've been playing a lot of white online, and it's not necessarily something that I enjoy. There's a lot of good removal in it, but the creatures are kind of lackluster unless you can throw some pants on them, and at that point your opponent's probably removed them. What I do like here is this Tatyova, Benthic Druid. If you can get her online and drop a couple lands, then you're good to go. Also like the Spore Swarm here. We're ignoring our rare because this card is a trap. It forces you into playing black, and if anybody else at the table is playing black, then you're going to hate your life. So we're going to take Tatyova. Hope that we see some fun stuff come around. So cards that are good with Tatyova. We got a Blink of an Eye. That's removal for a turn. You also get to draw a card off of it if you kick it for 2 extra. Merfolk Trickster is a very good combat trick when your opponent swings in. You can tap one of their creatures down, or if they have a ridiculous ability, they will lose that ability when they attack. We also have Raffle, Capuchin, the ship's mage. This would be in one of Tatyova's colors. We would have to hit some sort of mana fixing. Hopefully nobody is going to be taking all of the 3-drop green cards. I'm completely blanking on the name of those. But if anything, we'll see if we could get some Navigator's Compasses. They'll work pretty well with Raff. We'll be able to cast those at instant speed if we need to. So we're going to go ahead and take Raff here and have some fun in this draft. Alright, so next pack. Something that's very good in white. I spoke too soon. Knight of Grace is an extremely strong card in white. If you're playing white-black, it gets even better because you don't need to worry about whether or not your opponent's going to play any sort of black permanent cards. Knight of Grace is going to get +1/+0 as long as there's a black permanent on the battlefield. And it also has First Strike and Hexproof from black. In blue, we got removal with Deep Freeze or Blink of an Eye. I don't like Deep Freeze as it does give your opponent a 0/4 wall, which is very hard to get through to. We have the Mirari Conjecture. This would be pretty sweet to flash in off of Raff, especially if we get some insane removal. I think I'm just going to have a fun time with this draft. We're going to go ahead and take the Mirari Conjecture, and I think we're in it to win it at this point. There's no going back. So, white, blue, green. We are playing Bant. It's a very sweet color combination. Very strong Bant card in this pack. We do have Triumph of Gerard. If you have a way to protect your creatures to make sure that there's always a target for this, then that card is just overall insane. But that's not going to fit in our deck. I do like Blink of an Eye a lot better now. We need to last a couple turns so we can get some of our larger creatures online. Blink is going to give us that 1 extra turn that might actually change the game. And that's pretty much all we have. So we're going to take Blink of an Eye and hope we see some better white, blue, green cards coming around. Alright, so this pack is insane for us. A lot of good stuff here. Skittering Surveyor. It is a 3-drop. We can flash that in with Raff Capuchin. That's going to allow us to play our 3 colors. It's also going to give us an additional creature that might be good. Might be something that we're interested in. We do have Dauntless Bodyguard to protect any of our creatures that we decide to target with it. But I'm pretty sure everybody's been looking at it since the pack came up. Time of Ice and its foil. I think that's a sign. Time of Ice is super good. Raff is going to be able to bring that in with Flash. That'll tap down the creature that is probably going to swing into us to win the game. We're taking that. Time of Ice it is. Alright, and then we move into another pretty good pack for us. So, I lied. This is not a good pack for us. There's one card that screams out. I do like Voldarian. Yes, Arcanist. The extra mana is nice if you're playing that instant sorcery deck, but the choice here is going to be Divination for us. We do need to be able to draw into cards, so we will gladly take Divination. So, cards in bank colors here. We got Curator's Ward. This isn't anything that we're interested in at the moment. We don't have anything that we're really worried about dying. If they want to kill our creatures, then they can kill our creatures, but we're hoping that they don't have removal regardless. Navigator's Compass. This is probably going to be our pick because we want to make sure that we can hit that green mana. It looks like we're playing a white-blue deck at the moment. We want to be able to hit the green mana for Tatyova, especially if we can flash her in with Raff's ability, so we'll gladly take that Navigator's Compass. Alright. Another pretty good pack. So Diligent Excavator. That'd be pretty hilarious to just mill our opponent a ton of times. We got a couple Historics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a lot more than a couple. We got 5 Historics. If she sticks and we get to cast all those, that's 10 cards off the top. I think Relic Runner is a lot better if you want to play that Historic deck. Getting in with the 2 damage is relevant. But Precognition Field. Look at the top card of your library. You may cast the top card of your library if it's instant or sorcery, and you can exile it. So we can filter our draws with that. We went ahead and took that for the turn, or for the pack. Okay, and then we move into a bunch of stuff that's not necessarily good for us. So there's decent cards in this pack. If we do want to push a little more into green, Arbor Armament is a fine combat trick. Even if you're not trying to block flyers, you're going to get a 1/1 counter. Tolarian Scholar's a decent blocker. We're going to go ahead and reserve that. That's probably going to be our pick for the pack, sadly. Okay, and then Red Goblins. Never drafted Red Goblins with Dominaria. I don't think anybody has. I think they're very overlooked in the set because they're not super strong. But, I mean, these 3 work pretty well together. We also have a 6/6/5/5 Trampler. It is a historic permanent. We'd be able to flash that in. Go ahead and take that. And we're moving into Red-Black. So nobody's playing Red-Black. That's kind of scary. Those are the 2 colors we decided not to play pretty early into this pack. So hopefully we get to see a little bit more of the stuff that's coming around. We're going to hate Garner out of the pack. So if we get to kill our opponent's stuff, we don't want to have them return it to their hands. No, maybe we dip out of green and play something else. I really like Tatyova, but I don't want to commit too much into green just for the 1 card. Just force picks here. Alright, so going into pack 2. I'm going to take that next shot. Bear with me, y'all. Oh, that's terrible. Woo! Oh, Lord, that was bad. Okay, so this pack is brutal. There's obviously stuff that we want to take. I haven't gotten to draft value since this set since I've started playing online. Foil Sulphur Falls is probably the card that we want out of the pack, but we do have a lot better stuff that fits with what we want to do if we're going to win. And Bolus's Clutches would be sweet. I've had issues with this on MTGO, so sadly I'm going to pass it because I don't want to end up losing to this enchanting one of my islands. Blessed Light is some premium removal. We also have a Sapperling Migration, which would give us early game blockers. Llanowar Scout lets us ramp if we have lands in our hands. Now, I think we're fine with Navigator's Compass. There's also an Academy Journey Mage. So being able to bounce our opponent's creatures back to their hands is going to be sweet. We're going to take the Foil Sulphur Falls. I'm going to be that guy. Alright, so we were rewarded. We took Foil Sulphur Falls and passed a lot of very good cards that we didn't want to send to our opponent. They're probably all going to be gone by the time the pack comes back to us, but regardless, I mean, this is going to give us some sort of value so we can play some more drafts. We were rewarded with Evra. This card is insane if your opponent can't deal with it. Also, if they don't end up putting you to a low enough life total early on in the game, that card's just going to take it home. I can also cast it with Flash, which was going to be insane. If they don't have an answer, or if they pass turn, flash it in at the end of their turn, and then exchange life totals and just swing. Seems fun. So we also got Cloud Reader Sphinx, which is insane, and a foil Dreadshade. We could have went mono black. That's not something that I'm ever going to want to do. I played this in a paper draft once, and it was complete trash. So we're going to take that Evra. Okay, and we're still getting rewarded here. So, historic permanents, we got Blood Toll Candle. I very much like that. Very late game removal spell, as long as your opponent's not going to kick in a run or just have that insane combat trick. I played against a guy last night, and he had probably 4 creatures, which he was drawing all the time, and like 72 combat tricks. He was taking every game home. We also got Guardians of Koilos. This would work very well with Raff if they do have removal. Flash this guy in, send whatever they're targeting back to my hand. I don't think that's what we're looking to do. I think Academy Journey Mage is an easy pick here. We do have a few wizards, so it's going to sit right on curve at 4. If it was not Academy Journey Mage, I think our next pick probably would be Blood Toll Candle, or even Sapperling Migration. I'd feel a little bit better dipping into blue, or dipping a little bit more into green. But I'm kind of scared because we haven't seen a lot of I'm still blanking on it. Those 3-drop red cards that search for a land, or if you kick them, it searches for 2. If anybody's watching this and they remember what that card's called, go ahead and comment down at the bottom, because I very much want to know what that card is called. Is it safe to go into red? We do have Sulphur Falls. Sulphur Falls is going to allow us to play red, especially with the cards that we've already drafted. We didn't get anything crazy in red so far. I would like to see a little bit more removal. This pack is not something that's too exciting for us. Spore Swarm fits with the green theme. Triumph of Gerard, it is a historic permanent. Like I said, we're going to have fun. Triumph of Gerard is going to be our pick here. Flash that in off of Raff. Just go crazy. Another Academy Journey Mage. I think it's safe to say that 2 Academy Journey Mages are better than 1. As long as we get a little more of the wizards going on. We got 2 wizards, 3 wizards so far. Yeah, Tachyova is a druid, so not anything that we're going to be able to cast that Academy Journey Mage for 4 off of. Instants and sorceries would be nice to have. Precognition filled, it gets a lot better if you actually play an instants and sorceries. Regardless, we're going to be able to filter the top card of our deck. If it's not something that's going to help us, then we'll pay to put it into exile. Yeah, we're going to take another Academy Journey Mage. The tempo on that card is real. Next pack, there's still no red. There's not any green that we're interested in. If we want to stick to that Wizards theme, the G2 Lava Runner isn't necessarily a terrible card, but it's not something that I'm super interested in picking up at the moment. G2 Lava Runner does die to a call to the cavalry. Call the cavalry. So that's most likely going to be our pick there. I'm sad to see that Deathbloom Valid's still in the pack. Whoever's playing the black deck, I very much like this card. 3-2. If they want to kill it, you're going to get a 1-1 out of it. And it fits really well with Slimefoot. I'm sure somebody's got Slimefoot already. Alright, and there's a bunch of trash in this pack for us. So, Blood Tallow Candle, I think is going to be our pick here. I do like Woodland Cemetery because it's a land, and who doesn't want to just pick lands? Maybe we could just draft every color, focusing on white, blue, and then just have this for black and green, and we could also play red, and then just like, oh, you're going to remove my 6 creatures I have? Well, guess what? Garner the Blood Flame. That's going to catch you off guard, right? Blood Tallow Candle is going to be our pick here. I do like Adamant Will. It's a fine combat trick, but we'll most likely see a little bit more later on in the draft. And then Grow from the Ashes. Alright, so we finally saw... I don't need you guys to comment anymore. I know what it's called. Found out what it's called, y'all. Grow from the Ashes. We finally see the green card that we're looking for. We very much needed this. We need to be able to ramp into mana so we can cast our higher cost spells. Or even if we have mana and we get a drop Tatiova and our opponent can't deal with it, kicking this in is always nice. For 5 mana, you're going to draw 2 cards and gain 2 life. So Grow from the Ashes is an easy pick here for us. Next pack, so G2 Journey Mage. Do we end up trying to play red as well? G2 Journey Mage, we don't have enough wizards to make this card relevant, so I'm just going to ignore everything. Partick Wanderer, we could play 2 of those and just completely catch our opponent off guard, especially if we're hitting the 6 mana from Grow from the Ashes, and then we have Wrath Capuchin out. Just a flash. We also have Llanowar Scout, early game creature, well, I guess we're taking Llanowar Scout. Ran out of time. So that's not too bad. We're able to drop lands. It's going to help us ramp. And if we have too many lands in our hands and Tatiova out and Llanowar Scout out, which is a lot to ask for at this moment, that's going to be good for us. We'll be able to draw cards, gain life at any point in the game as long as we have land. This pack sucks. We're going to take Memorial to Unity so we can try to dig for our creatures. We don't have a lot in this deck, so we want to see as many of them as possible. Fungal Plots, creating Saplings, not very much interested in that. We can take another Llanowar Scout. Not very much interested in that. Pierce the Sky, if we're dealing with flyers, we don't have anything to deal with that. We're going to take a single Pierce the Sky. Bring that out of the sideboard. It did wonders for us on that black-green Saplings deck. Alright, this pack we got Frenzied Rage. Frenzied Rage gets through our little bits of creatures we have. Corrosion Druid for late game life gain. Late game life gain? Late game life gain. Alright, not taking that basic. And we're taking that basic. Cool, going into pack 3. Hopefully it doesn't start. Okay, it started. I gotta pour myself a shot real quick. God. This stuff is terrible. Alright, so shot poured. I got a minute to kill myself here. Alright, that was a bad idea. I probably didn't need that, but woo! It happened. Alright, Benelish Marshall. Wow, that's in our colors. This card's good. If I would have seen that pack 1 over the Dread Shade, I think we'd be playing a little heavier on the white. We got Aardvark the Curse. He doesn't sit super well with our with our deck. He's in one of our colors. Other legendary creatures you control get +2/+2. I don't think that ability is good enough for us to pick it. Icy Manipulator is our pick here. We also got Deep Freeze. Don't very much like that card. Pegasus Courser or Syncopate, because that is definitely a blowout when your opponent taps out for their bomb. Another foil Sulfur Falls? What the hell is going on? Okay, so every draft that I've played for the past couple days, I feel like there's a bug in MTGO. I played in a draft. I pack one, picked one Teferi. Pack one, pick two was Jora, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna play American Control, and this is gonna be insane. And then Christmas Land, I see a Squeak come around, which works well with Jora. You swing in, you cast him again, you draw a card, and your opponent's like, what the hell's going on? And you're just like, dude, this is going on. Let it happen. Going to game one, my opponent has the same stuff. Same exact cards. Game two, American Control. Game three, American Control. I was very worried. I had no clue what was going on. Regardless, I got a $36 card out of it, and it got sold. We're taking that foil Sulfur Falls because I'm value drafting at this point. I think it's safe to play red now, but we haven't seen a whole ton of very decent red cards. We've seen them, we haven't taken them. The best red card we've seen is going to be that Shivan Fire. I don't think that's relevant at this point. I don't want to take a Shivan Fire just because I got 2 foil Sulfur Falls. Flexing on y'all. Foil Sulfur Falls, y'all. These are not being played in our deck, obviously. Woo! Obviously, excuse me, guys. Apologize about that. We are taking that Grow from the Ashes. If we get this Benthic Druid out, obviously Grow from the Ashes is going to do us work. We want to gain life. We want to draw cards. And we want to play our bomb. We have enough cards to control the battlefield to just swing in with our little beaters. Grow from the Ashes it is. Alright, and we see a Tempest Djinn. Well, that's in our colors. Do we play it? No, we don't. It's not good enough in our colors. What other cards are good in this pack? So we see another Shivan Fire. That makes me feel a little sad that we didn't take the past Shivan Fire. We could have maybe cut green. No, that seems bad. We're not going to cut green. We want to play that Tachiova. I like Tachiova. Even if she sucks, I like her. Maybe Thorn Elemental might be our late game beater here. We don't get to flash him in, which is sad. I mean, that was what we were going for pack 1. We wanted to be able to flash in all our historic permanents with Raff. I like Cloud Reader Sphinx as well. Scrying the 2 and being able to set up your draw. But Thorn Elemental gets there. Cloud Reader Sphinx is a flyer. We're going to take the Sphinx. Costs a lot less as well. Alright, we see a 2-headed giant, so we should have been playing red. I'm just kidding. Sanctum Spirit. Do we have enough historic permanents to make this card relevant? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got 10 historic permanents that we can discard to Sanctum Spirit. That's going to give us lifelink. If the lifelink gets through, or if the attack gets through and we gain life, that's going to help us with Evra's ability. If our opponent can't deal with Evra and we switch the power and toughness while we're at 23, I think it's safe to say we win. I really like this Academy Journey Mage as well, but we got a couple already. We saw them pretty late in the last pack, so I think that most likely will will to us. I feel like that's going to will to us. Alright, next pack. Still a bunch of red. So Sulfur Falls. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Everybody's going to be playing the same deck. Everyone pack 1, pick 1, Tachiova. Everyone pack 1, pick 2, Raff. I'm calling it right now. There's a bug in MTGO. Alright, we're taking a Syncopate. I've lost to this card way too many times. It's hilarious when I try to cast my bomb and I finally stabilized and my opponent syncopates and I lose. I lose after that. Syncopate for 1. Pretty good. Alright, we see another Triumph of Gerard. I don't think we have enough creatures to make this good. We don't want 2 of those. We see a Garn of the Bloodflamed. Nobody's going to take that. I think it's proven that everybody's in Bant at this point. Homerid Explorer, not going to be good in our deck. Befuddle, this could save us a little bit. So -4, -0 till the end of the turn for a blue and 2 colorless. We're going to draw a card off that. We will take Befuddle. We can cast that with Precognition Field as well. So I think that's a safe pick. We see Diligent Excavator. We see Invoke the Divine, Opt, and another Syncopate. Do we take multiple Syncopates just to make our opponent want to die? Do we take an Opt so we can scry? Or we take a Invoke the Divine so we can gain 4 life? I thought that was going to rhyme a little bit better. Well, I was going for it. Spitting hot fire. Syncopate is a pretty safe pick. Invoke the Divine to remove target artifact or enchantment. We're going to just take that. I think that was a safer pick. We're going to move this Triumph of Gerard to the sideboard. And I think we have enough instants and sorceries for Voldarian Arcanist to be good. Especially if we cast him, he's not dealt with, and we're able to use his ability to kick Grow from the Ashes. Very easy pick for us there. Next pack, we see Healing Grace, Adamant Will, and Homerid Explorer. Adamant Will is going to be fine if we're able to cast that to save one of our creatures, or cast that to swing in and win the game. Healing Grace, preventing 3 damage that's dealt by a target will gain 3 life. We're going to take Adamant Will. Another Voldarian Arcanist. Alright, take it. We've got the activation, or Excavation Elephants. So you kick it in. If it was kicked, return target artifact from your graveyard to your hand. That could be relevant with Blood Tallow Candle, so we'll put that in our board. I like this card so much. I wish that it did more. The colorless mana. I guess that's what you get. An untapped land that scries. We'll take it. And nobody's playing Red Sagas. Why is nobody playing Red Sagas? It's the best draft deck. Alright, so we got some cuts to make here. We got 1 land in board. 14 creatures. I don't think there's any other creatures in our sideboard that we're interested in bringing into the main board, so I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so Syncopate. This might get cut very much like Syncopate. Like I said, late game, blow your opponent out. We can also cast it off of the Precognition Field, which would just be hilariously insane. Precognition Field, we're going to keep this in. I think we have enough instants and sorceries to make Precognition Field relevant. And even if there's not an instant or sorcery on the top of the deck, we're able to pay 3. Is it 3? Pay 3 to exile the top card of your library. Nice. And then you never get to play it again. Maybe Precognition Field isn't something we're interested in. I think we have enough card draw on this deck that Precognition Field is not going to be over the top insane to play against our opponent. That makes me kind of sad. We took this really early in the draft, hoping to hit something. And then we saw like a single blink of the eye, and we just pushed it. And then we just didn't get a whole lot of instants and sorceries. We got 2 for Grow from the Ashes, which was sweet. I tried really hard to remember what those were called, and I couldn't until one of them came around. Tellurian Scholar. So we got a couple Voldarian Arcanists. Those are wizards. Those are going to help us cast our Academy Journey Mage. I think it's safe to cut the Tellurian Scholar. It's going to put us to 90, 29 cards main board. Invoke the Divine. I like this main board. There's a lot of artifacts and enchantments that are going to change the game quite a bit into the opponent's favor if they cast them. So being able to remove those if I have this in hand, that's going to be super sweet. Befuddle. We have enough card draw with Divination and Tachioba. I would say Grow from the Ashes is also card draw in the sense that you're getting lands out of your deck and hopefully drawing actual spells off the top instead of the lands that would be in there. As well as Blink of an Eye. Most likely going to be casting this for 4 as opposed to 2. Unless I'm in a very desperate measure to keep my opponent off of beating me up. So card draw is fine. Befuddle is going to get moved to the sideboard. If our opponent is playing something that I really need to neg 4, neg 0, and draw a card, then I'll bring it in. But most likely that's not going to be the issue. I like Corrosion Druid as long as I'm already at 20 life. Going up to 30 is pretty sweet. Even if our opponent just out-aggroes us, we're at 13 creatures. If our opponent out-aggroes us and just beats us into the grounds, Corrosion Druid kicked is good at any point. Gaining the 10 life, it's going to work well with the Evra. I think we'll keep this main board for now. Spartic Wanderer, we can move this to the sideboard. I got really into that historic thing, and I just didn't see crazy creatures. I'm fine with getting Academy Journey Mages, and I'm fine with getting Cloud Reader Sphinxes and then the Sagas that I can cast at instant speed. So, Wanderer, we're going to move to the sideboard. It's pretty sad. That puts us at 12 creatures, which is fine. I think we have enough cards in the deck to make it work. Time of Ice is going to tap a couple creatures down our opponent controls. Precognition Field, we're moving to the sideboard. Sorry. I meant to do that earlier. Excavation Elephant, we are also moving to the sideboard. If our opponent has any sort of artifact removal, then he's definitely going to be coming in. He is a 3/5 for 5. He does not get any buff when you kick him in, but you are able to get your artifact back from your graveyard. Icy Manipulator is going to do us a lot of work in every game that we play. It always has, no matter when you cast it during the game. Hopefully you're not losing, but you cast this card with 1 mana up, and you tap your opponent's big thing down. My deck is going to have enough small creatures that can block whatever they're swinging in with. Even if it's going to kill the creature, that's perfectly fine with me. So right now we're sitting at 25 cards main deck. This land is included in the 25 cards. So we take this out, that'll put us at 24. I think it's safe to take out the Memorial to Unity. We do want to hit our creatures, but we have enough early game to make this deck work pretty well. I don't think creatures is something that we're interested in, especially if we have to sacrifice one of the lands that we end up playing. So we'll take that out. Navigator's Compass. So the historic synergy that we have in this deck is going to be with Raffle. Being able to cast our big historic spells with Flash is going to be a huge thing. And I honestly don't think that casting Navigator's Compass with Flash just to gain 3 life is going to be insane. The only thing I could see that 3 life working really well with is going to be this Evra. But that's later in the game. We've probably already taken enough damage to the point where 3 life is always good. We're going to leave it at that. Blood Tallow Candle, that's staying in. We're not taking that out. That's pretty much one of our removal spells. So I think it's safe to say that we either cut the Llanowar Scout or we cut the Navigator's Compass. We're going to cut them both at the moment, and we're going to check out what we have. So what's better here? Land War Scout. It is going to be a 1/3 that's able to tap to put lands in. If our opponent removes it, then we're a little sad. It also is able to block all the Saprolings. Saprolings are huge in this set. We also got Tellurian Scholar. It is a 2/3 for 3 mana. It is a wizard, which is on curve with our Academy Journey Mages. So for 3, you cast the Scholar, and then for 4, you bounce back the creature that they play to their hand. I just really hate the art on this card, to be honest. Like, even if I need to force this card in the deck, I never want to, because that guy just looks like a fucking douche. I'm sorry about my cursing, but he does. Look at it, it's too realistic. The art on this card looks like they took a picture of a guy's actual face. Let me watch this. Watch this. This is an actual dude. Look at that dude. It's like, what just happened? I'm modeling for this magic card, and I don't look too excited about the fact that I'm going to be put on a 2/3 human wizard for 3 mana that has no abilities. Even the freaking text sucks. I've never read it. Alright, let's get out of here. I don't know what the hell just happened. We're going to bring that back up. Oh gosh, what's going on? There we go. Alright, we're back, y'all. Saved it. So we're at 22 cards main deck. What are we going to play to make this relevant? So Blood Tallow Candle is removal. We do have to sacrifice it. I think it's pretty bad to slam Excavation Elephant in just so we could get that Blood Tallow Candle back. I'm sticking with the Corrosion Druid. I think we're going to hit enough lands to make this 10 life gain happen almost every single time we cast it. The only card I could see brought in from the sideboard is going to be this Pierce this guy. And we can mainboard that if our opponent decides to cast a flyer early game or even late game. Dealing 7 damage to it is going to be super huge. I don't want to have to lose to flyers too early into games or in game 1 and then have to sideboard this in every single time I lose game 1. Have to pick up the next 2 games. That did happen in our black-green deck that we built. We lost to quite a bit of flying decks, and then Pierce this guy came and saved our ass. It's not worth it to put these 2 Sulphur Falls in as much as I want to. It's super cool that we got 2 foil Sulphur Falls. I don't know any of the value on these cards on MTGO. I don't even know the value of these cards in paper. This is a hard pick, so we're definitely putting 1 more card in. I think Pierce this guy is going to be the card. We're just going to slam Bant and hope that every single opponent that we're playing today is not also on the same deck. Alright, so adding the basic lands. Does this look good? Got a lot of blue, got a lot of green, got a lot of white, so we got some white switches. We want to hit our green early, we want to hit our blue early. Alright, let's see what it was suggesting. So, does that look good to everybody? Okay, that looks good to me. Cool, I'll see y'all in game 1.